All right, welcome everybody. This is 129.17, the debut episode of CBSI Presents Tales from Flipside. I'm Dino P, King of Craigslist. Everyone, introduce themselves.
This is Ben S, and I'm the craziest one on here because I agreed to coach a 12-year-old girls select soccer team.
This is Jon Z, the Western Warrior, if you talk to Mr. Kenyon.
Matt D, I guess I'm the variant guy.
Scott Reagan. They say I like to buy ASM 300s.
Paul W. Like to declare this a koi-free zone.
Nice. Nice. And we got John Brown. He's going to be our sub, but he's not on. So,
What's up, everybody?
What up?
Much.
That's a wrap.
All right, yeah, good show, guys.
let's wrap it up. I guess we can let's talk about how we all got into comics. So let's we can go one at a time, I guess.
Shoot, Dino.
Oh, okay. So I guess I got into comics. My cousin actually got me into the group, but I've been a comics fan my whole life. I like X-Men at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock after school every day. Animated series, Batman animated series. So that's how I got into comics.
Cool.
Ben?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I liked comics back in the 80s, and then in the 90s, I owned a baseball card store, and kind of picked up some comics back then. Then kind of took a hiatus for a long time, and then picked up the Batman Black Mirror trade. I don't know, probably 5 years ago, something like that, and got me right back into it, and it's been plowing through ever since.
I just read that Black Mirror maybe a week and a half ago.
It's a good read.
Yeah,
I gotta get out of that then.
Yeah,
I
that's a
have
good
not read
read.
that yet.
It's funny. I was into comics, back in the 80s, 90s as well. Kind of stopped in my 20s for a while. And actually I got back in because my wife, for one of her anniversaries, got me a gift card to a comic shop as like the paper anniversary, and started reading stuff and mostly buying online, and then found out some of them were more valuable than I thought, and stumbled into the group at that point.
So she's an enabler.
She really probably regrets that decision.
Yeah, it's all her fault.
She probably wants
yeah.
an intervention.
And, yeah. Oh, she's like, oh God, why did I do that?
But you bring all the money in now, so it's better.
I don't really do any money. I just turn it into more books, more stuff.
Gotcha.
Just let her know that she created you.
It's all her fault.
It's like Batman and Joker.
Who's Batman?
That is the key.
I guess I got into comics. My first comic I got for Easter, it was Amazing Spider-Man 361, the first Carnage.
Nice.
That was my first comic. I still have it. And it just kind of spiraled. I was, an early speculator as a kid, where I bought like every Image #1 that existed, and they were all terrible buys. And I just kind of got out of it in high school and college, and kind of went back into it after. And then just full blown, when I was looking for spec size, it kind of came to this the G Plus site. I think it was like number 51 or something like that. But yeah, so here we are.
Yeah, I mean, my story is pretty much the same, collected it as a kid. I think the last thing I got was the Death of Superman. And then I pretty much got out of it and went to sports cards after that. I got back into it after like Watchmen and like Sin City, because I was like, damn, these good movies came from comic books. So let's go back and see what they are. And the first book I remember picking up was Amazing Spider-Man 700.
Nice.
Like right off the rack.
Now, are you still into sports cards?
No, I gave that up.
Because that's what this show's all about, is how we spun off into other stuff, you know?
Yeah, it
just
was,
wondering if some of that stuff stayed with you.
No, pretty much it's all comics now.
Yeah, I was into sports cars for a little bit. I don't know. I joined the I joined the sports card market in the '90s, and that was a terrible decision too.
Yep. I was there with you.
I have a mid '80s collection if anyone wants it.
Nice. Some Donruss.
I had a guy at work. He might actually take it. He's high in the comic books or in baseball cards. Man, it's crazy.
My neighbor goes to auctions and stuff, and he gave me a shit ton of baseball cards. They're gone now, but just so many. It was insane. They pile up as fast as comics, as small as they are. But I kind of got into comics twice, I guess. The first time, my brother, my oldest brother, and a friend of his took all of his friend's dad's comics and opened like a small shop above our shed. And just there was a bunch of stuff up there. And just kids from the neighborhood would come by and buy stuff. And I think one of the first, I was up there looking through stuff, and just to get me out of there, they gave me a couple books. And one of them was the third printing of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2. And I just bought a 9.6 for that. So then I had a couple Turtle comics, then I got out of it. And my other brother, years later, had the first 2 trade paperbacks to Walking Dead. And I blew through those. And then I was like, well, where's the third trade paperback? And then I learned that comics come out once a month, sometimes longer between issues. And that's what snowballed into the disaster of a collection I have now. But
So Turtles started early for you.
Oh yeah. I mean the cartoons and toys and all that stuff too. But as far as the comics, it was like my first taste. And then we were on vacation, and there was one of the Turtles adventures, TMNT Adventure comics on a rack at some store, and just like little hints, little snippets throughout growing up. And then once I read The Walking Dead, I got back into it. And I think my earliest Best Buy was I got some refund money from college and bought off of eBay TMNT volumes 1 through 3 complete. No, #1 wasn't a first printing or anything, but it was complete. And so I bought that and was really happy, but I was so nervous about shipping. There was no tracking number. and it was some lady, and she shipped it in the short box and just taped it. And I was so nervous, but those got here, and so that was fun.
How long ago was that?
I'd have to look it up on eBay, but I'd say maybe like 2008, 2009.
Wow. Yeah. So my question is, as you read the first 2 trades of Walking Dead, did you decide at that point, because that was only about issue 13? 12. Yeah. So you're like, oh man, I should go out and buy the actual comics. Did you actually buy any of them?
Yeah, I think the earliest I have is maybe issue 8 through whatever they're on now.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's kind of what happened to me.
You may as well finish the run then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not too expensive. Now it's the buyer's market. I remember looking #1 up on eBay back when it was like $300 and thinking, man, I'd never pay that much for a comic.
So long ago.
Yeah. It's funny how your threshold changes.
Oh god.
As you collect. I remember when I spent $150 on a book, I was like, oh man, I'm nervous about this.
I can finance that now.
Oh, now you don't even blink at some of the things. You're like,
no.
Oh, God.
No, the best is when they show up and you're like, when did I buy this?
You just tell yourself you'll never see it again, so you have to buy it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
I don't do that. I just buy it and then I immediately regret it probably.
Just return it all.
Yeah,
I got 90 days on eBay, right?
When it's scary is when your wife doesn't even flinch when you tell her what you spent. That's when things have sunk in.
Why do you tell her?
I don't know.
Maybe you have to.
I'm not that. My girlfriend loves me, but she questions every purchase I get for comic books. So that's a good thing. She's like interested, and then she goes, "Well, how much is that?" And then I make up some fictitious number like it's $500, even though I don't spend $500 on a comic. So.
but it's worth $700.
No.
Hey, yeah, it's like the one gun meme that says, you know, when I die, my wife was going to sell all my guns for what I told her I bought them for.
Who's up next?
I think it's it. That was the end of the line.
Yeah, I think that was in the line. So we got we're gonna do favorite toys and video games from your childhood, and that includes systems. This is gonna be good. I like this one. So I guess I'll start this one off. So favorite system, toy, video game. It's regular Nintendo, and it's Super Mario Brothers 3. Classic. It's just
That was a good game.
that was a good game. It was like, you know, Super Mario Brothers 1, like that's a hard game, like if you don't use warp zones, but Super Mario Brothers 3 was just tough. Just tough.
Now, do you remember watching The Wizard?
Yes.
Yes.
And when they debuted the Power Glove, and they were debuting Super Mario 3 in that movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Little known
that was some
fact
serious
on,
marketing then.
yeah, little known fact is on Top Gun, the video game, you can actually land better if you use the Power Glove than the actual controller.
I never used the Power Glove. Never got a chance.
I was poor. I didn't have the Power Glove.
Yeah.
I see them once in a while in antique malls or somewhere, and you're like, maybe I should just buy one. Wait, I don't have the system anymore.
I still have my system. It's still in the closet.
I know my brother hijacked the system from my parents' house, and he's got it floating around.
Yeah. Is it the original system you guys had?
Yeah, I think so.
Mine is too. It's awesome.
He's got a boatload of that stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
It won't work with the classic though, right?
No.
That's all. I don't think you could put a cartridge in it. It's just
No, it's not. Somebody
It's
A lot
game.
smaller.
yeah, somebody hacked it too. I think it's USB too. I don't think it's actual.
Oh, for the controller?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get a dongle.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure you could.
Of course.
But can you hook up the Nintendo to your TVs now?
Yeah, you can. You just can't play Duck Hunt.
Sometimes you have to feed it through. Like I had to find an old VCR to feed it through that, and that somehow converted it through. Like it was talking to the HD TV a little bit better when I passed it through the VCR.
You just put
And
the
yes, I
cartridge
still
into
have
the
a VCR.
What's a VCR?
I know.
Yeah.
You put the cartridge into the VCR.
Yeah, exactly.
What about your favorite toys?
Oh, favorite toys. I did have the Batmobile, the first Batmobile from like Batman from the Michael Keaton era. That was pretty cool.
I think I still have that in my attic at home.
Do you? I know we played with a bunch of like X-Men action figures and like G.I. Joe and stuff, but I really didn't collect too many toys. You know, like I was more of a video game nerd. Like I just played a bunch of video games. At the end of the day, Sega, Nintendo 64.
I think my favorite system, we used to rent them from the video store. So I think we owned a Sega Genesis, so that one's fun, like Road Rash.
Sega had the best sports games.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. NHL 94. Make Gretzky bleed, man.
Dude, all you had to do was come down the wing and take a slap shot every time.
Oh, goodness. Or the old wraparound.
The wraparound, yeah.
Mhm.
I played so many seasons of that game.
I remember fighting my brothers over the systems, wanting to rent them, and they were due next week. And then as soon as you'd set a time, like, all right, I can go play, and then you go to the bathroom or something, you come back, and then your brother would be sitting there playing the system. God damn it! Well,
I remember video
PlayStation.
games.
I think PlayStation was the biggest one we've rented, and then we had the Sega Genesis. Friends of ours had Dreamcast. I think there were neighbors of ours who we would always borrow their N64, and we just wouldn't give it back until they'd finally come to our house and be like, "Could we get our system back now?" And I don't know, favorite toys. Obviously Turtles, but I think of the Turtle toys, nostalgia-wise, there was this. They did like a dinosaur prehistoric run, and Leonardo was on a Triceraton or something, or Triceratops, and I don't know. I just thought that one was awesome.
Now, since you had the Turtles, you're a turtle guy, obviously. Did you have the pizza van back in the day that shot pizzas out of it?
I never got the pizza van.
We had the pizza van.
Pizza van was dope.
Yeah.
I think I had to choose one Christmas. I got to choose between the van or the sewer hangout, the sewer layer, and I got the sewer layer instead.
Sewer layer is awesome.
Well, that was the best thing about the last Turtle movie, where they're driving the van and shooting out the sewer caps. It reminded me of that old Turtle van. The base,
I couldn't watch it.
I couldn't either.
I didn't watch it.
I got about 12, 15 minutes into it, and I just couldn't. Maybe I'll have to drink some more, but
I felt the same way, Paul. I got about 10 minutes in. I was like, I can't do it.
Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even download it for free. That's how bad it is.
It was free.
I can usually watch a bad movie, but that one I just couldn't stomach it.
I watched the first one and I was like, oh, it's awful. And then I just didn't have hope on the second one.
Do you guys like the original?
Oh,
the original 3?
The original 2, and then number 3 kind of...
The China one, right?
Yeah.
Or Japan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah.
I remember how cool that first one was when it came out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think...
Chloe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chloe.
Shit, I forgot what I was going to say now. One of the books I bought recently, I put it up on the pickups page, had in the back of it a flyer for a premiere of the first movie, like at some shop or something the night. I think it was pre-theater release or night of the theater release. I'll have to look it up, but that was pretty cool because I didn't know that was going to be in the book.
I wonder if you could get it graded.
That's what I'm curious about. So one of my other Grail books is a TMNT #1 second print, and it has a certificate of authenticity, and I bought it from Mirage, that it's from Peter Layard's personal collection.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's signed and stuff, so I don't know if I ever sent that in. I don't think it would. I don't know if they would slip it in there and note it. I doubt they would do anything like that.
I don't
think they would throw away the COA, right?
Well, you want to know something? If you send it to PGX, they'll put a certificate in there because I got a book I got off MCS. It was a PGX graded book, but it was cheap. And I get it, and I'm like, what is that? They put a certificate in the back.
In the slab?
Yeah, I think it's outside of like the sleeve.
Inner mylar?
Yeah.
Like they issued it?
No, it wasn't from PGX. It was just something.
Is it just free floating, or does it stay in place?
It seems to be in place because I think they almost got the corners of it kind of at the case. It's bizarre.
Why don't they just put it inside the book?
I don't know. I couldn't
see it.
Because then it's not displayed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you don't want to put it on the back cover because the ink would probably rub it or something.
Well, it's not even a signature. It's just like just saying this is a preview issue. And I'm like, it's the most odd thing to put in there.
Maybe I'll send all my turtle books to PGX.
That sounds like a great plan. I believe turtle books are what cost them most of their issues.
Oh no, they don't grade magazine size, right? It's only CGC.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the whole deal that they traded out of turtles at one point, a first print and a fifth print or a second print or something? That was one of their issues, I recall.
I heard that. I don't know. Yeah, I heard that. That was a story. I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but
Next time.
But I mean, maybe their case is big enough that can fit a magazine.
Next time I ask 8 people the same grading question, I'll let you know.
Have you guys ever actually sent anything to PGX?
I did once.
yeah, we did. Right,
Wasn't
Scott?
too bad.
What'd you say?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like $25 and took like 2 weeks.
It was kind of a waste as you had to reholder it to do anything with it.
Yeah, because I couldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Nobody would even look at the book.
I remember you took it on PhillyCon and everybody's like, yeah, that's no.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I felt like I was carrying something with the plague or something.
Like, you're been better off just raw, I think.
What was the regrade?
It came out as a 4 for PGX and CGC gave it a 3.
Jesus.
So it was like a full grade. But I mean, I usually expect PGX to be
I
Right.
saw that book. It wasn't really a 4.
No, it definitely wasn't.
We laughed.
Yeah. When I got it, I couldn't believe the grade that came back.
Ben just did the 1 day or 2 day turnaround for CBCS and liked it.
Oh,
my last order was 2 day. I had because I think with the membership, at least last year, you got 2 free 2 days.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing that. But then I had an order that they messed up, so they kind of gave me an extra one. So that coupled with the 20% that they had at the beginning of the year, it was I think $250 for 10 books. I thought that was a really great deal for 2 days, and it was awesome because it was literally a week from door to door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sent it. I bought the books on Thursday evening, sent them off Friday, and they showed up yesterday morning.
What was the cost?
For mine?
Oh yeah, for regular cost is $36 a book, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that include shipping or is
No.
Well, that's cheaper than CGC. I think CGC is $45 for their 2 day.
Yeah, it was fast. I mean, they didn't even receive it. I don't think the post office said it didn't even deliver until Tuesday. So it was delivered to them on Tuesday and at my house on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was mine was received on a Monday morning, graded that afternoon, and then shipped the next afternoon.
Is that moderns only?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the Tuesday after Martin Luther King Day, Ben?
Was this week, so I don't think Martin Luther King. No, it was just this week.
But the thing is that that cheaper price worth it in resale? I mean, are you getting the same money on them? It seems so sporadic.
Yeah, it depends on the book. And for me, I wanted to use it because it was cheaper in CGC. I would have spent a fortune to do that, and I wanted to get those 7-2 Eternities graded because I wanted to get those on really as fast as I could.
Yeah, if you're first to market, it makes a difference, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, because they're kind of starting to fall right now.
You think they'll hold long term, story wise?
It depends. Remember is notorious for skipping on to the next book and leaving the other one.
Good things though.
I mean, 7-2 Eternities has a lot of good press and a lot of good buzz. So hopefully he stays on it. But
it's just jumped really high, really fast.
It did, and it's hard to hold that.
I thought the good thing was though that when they said they were going on a break, that it was not just it was just a 1 month break. So
sure, yeah.
The next issue be out in February. So it's not like it's taking a big long, break like Witches did or something like that, where it's a year later.
I mean, it's going to see some hurt in about 2 months because I know that everyone sent their books in to get graded. So when everyone gets them back in the next 3 months, it's just going to be a flood.
Yeah, I think at the back of one of my boxes I have, was it Clones or Cloned or something like that, along with East of West, which I don't know, we'll see.
But long term, it'll be fine. It's just people have to just sit on it at this point.
Yeah. It's just the sentiment still holds true. I mean, I know the gap for resale might be closing slowly, but the sentiment that I've always been under, just talking to everybody, is CGC is for PC/flip, and then CBCS is mostly for PC books, and then maybe longer term holds, just due to the argument that CBCS grades more stricter and all that stuff.
I think it depends upon where you sell them too.
Yeah.
If you sell them in an area that is a little bit more receptive to CBCS, I think you get better prices.
I mean, we get that question all the time. What's better, CBCS or CGC? And yeah, CGC overall is better, flipping wise, long term. If you want the full value of your book. But when I was doing my research during the whole Slabgate, CBCS wasn't too far behind for certain books. For expensive books, for books that were routinely sold, Hulk 181, there was a difference of about $300 or $400 in similar gradings. But for a book like a rare variant that hasn't showed up on eBay for about 3 months, you can get the full value out of it because it's still the only one.
Plus, I mean, CBCS is, how old?
Right.
As a company. So
what are they, 3 years old, 2 years old?
I think 3. I did. When I did my research too on the article, when I wrote about it when Slabgate was rolling through, I noticed the same thing. I mean, at the end of the day, they're gonna if they stay in the long haul, they're gonna be just as competitive as CGC once they start getting the following and the pedigree and all that stuff as CGC.
I liked using them. I mean, I would use them again. I would use CGC again.
Yeah, I had no problem. I had when I first joined, I put a bunch of books to CBCS. I had like Avengers 57. I had I think I had a Doctor Strange 169. I had a couple Aquaman 35s. Like, I have no problem with their service. The service is great.
I would say if I had a delicate older book, I would probably go CBCS. Just my experience.
Sure.
But right now I still send most of it to CGC. Just I don't know.
You've had a couple experiences.
Yeah, I mean I've got some credits and some things like that too, and I don't know. But I usually end up selling half of what I grade, so it's like.
There's also Halo, Vault, and a new one, kind of new, Comic Skin, where you grade it yourself.
Yeah.
Everything's a 10.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the cover's ETS, but who cares? I mean, it's still a 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the sales histories on like ASM 300, which is probably the 9/8s are probably one of the most traded. I mean, it just sells all the time.
It does.
I mean, the CBCS great. I mean, the sales are exactly the same. I mean, they're.
Yeah, it depends on the book. Like, people just need to research. Like, when people ask that question, that blanketed, what's better? Look up the values for that book that you're gonna get graded, and see which one works better.
Don't grade filler issues either.
Right. Yeah. You gotta
I
grade
hate
what's
seeing
gonna
that.
sell.
So many filler issues out there.
It's kind of the same with as far as grading. I mentioned the Comic Skin thing, which is grade your own. I think it's kind of whatever you want to do with your books. I mean, some people hate CGC, some people hate CBCS, some people love PGX, and all the other combos. But I looked into it a little bit. I mean, you can grade. I have to pull up the site again, but I know you can grade toys. I know you can grade like video games and cartridges.
AFA for the toys.
Yeah, that's like the CGC of toys is the AFA, and then they're other they do it all as far as games and stuff. But it's kind of it's whatever you want to do with your stuff. Because to me, it's like, man, why would I grade an action figure? And then listening on the other podcast, Mel is like, why would you grade a comic book?
Right.
It's just whatever.
It increases the value.
Right, and it increases the value, protects it.
Right.
They display it really nice. They build a custom case for each figure.
Has anybody looked into that toy grading?
I looked into it a little bit. The prices are, I mean, they have their pricing tier, but they have the same, up to 10. Their grading scale's up to 10, and then they kind of, I have to pull up the site. They grade
Does it vary by toy, like what type of toy it is? How they
just condition. Oh yeah, size wise and all that stuff. They said at the bottom of their list, it's like over a certain site, it just says call.
Like I said, they build a custom box for each figure. So sometimes, like the big stuff, they'll have to build a really big box.
That's crazy.
Well, the gaming market, the resale value for games right now is just nuts. Like, it's probably crazier than it is grading a comic. Like, you can buy, like, let's say it's $100 value game, brand new, on eBay, like a Super Nintendo game. You can grade it and sell it for $700.
Yeah, like Super Mario World. Like, it's good games. It's like Super Mario World. Like, Stadium Events is like the rarest Nintendo game ever, and it goes for like big money.
Yeah, the box alone, I think one sold about a year ago or 2 years ago. The box alone sold for $3,000.
Yeah, I think sometimes the boxes sell up to 10 grand depending on condition too.
Yeah, no, the list of rare games is crazy, but the most consistent console that has those rare games is Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I didn't have Super Nintendo. I'm kind of bummed about that.
Yeah, I never had one.
I've always been a Nintendo fan, so I've always had every console that existed. And I used to have like an uncle who worked for Nintendo, so he would send me like a box of video games. And then I would take the ones I didn't want and trade them into like Toys R Us and get like the game like Street Fighter and all that stuff. But I had a mountain of games, and the resale value on some of these games is just nuts. Like if you have Earthbound, I don't know if you guys ever played it on Super Nintendo.
No.
Oh, but that game sells for anywhere between like $500 just loose,
Holy crap.
up to $2,500 in like sealed.
So is it all just rarity?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, a lot of these games, like at the end of Super Nintendo, people move on from one console to the next. So like as Super Nintendo is weaning off, they launch GameCube or 64. But the other game is still getting developed. So a lot of those end of life games, they don't sell that well. They kind of sit on shelves and they go to backstock, and then people realize they like playing them and they're fun, and then all of a sudden it's just impossible to find.
But are they buying them to play them, or
yeah, a lot of these people buy them to play them. I mean, you can get versions of them, through
ROMs and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
ROMs and stuff, but some of them you can't. I know there's a lot of rare Nintendo ones like Battletoads and
Battletoads. I remember that game.
Dude, that was the hardest game. Me and my cousin, I don't know how many times we rented that game from the video. Like, you get a weekend, right? Remember you boys remember getting a weekend game?
Yep.
Like, we could never beat it. I don't know how many weekends we rented it and couldn't do it.
I think Sewer Level, I think, was the one I could never get past.
Is that the one with the Wave Runner, right? When the Wave Runner?
Yeah.
But like there was a game Battletoads and Double Dragon together.
Yep.
That game is $100. If you find it just in terrible condition, $100 easy. And selling video games is so much fun because like comics, I don't have it. This doesn't happen as often, but like video games, I'll list it and 5 seconds later it'll sell.
Wow.
Just people move on this stuff so fast. I've never had a game last for more than a day.
Huh.
No, I have like Aladdin. I have like Sega games like Aladdin. I don't have any of the boxes. I got some of the boxes. I'll have to check. I'll have to get with you, Matt, because I got a whole bunch of old games.
Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 are the money systems right now.
Yeah, I got
PlayStation 1's dead, and no Xbox. Any sports game is worthless.
I made some money on an Xbox game. It was Mass Effect.
Sure.
I caught the wave, but I went to GameStop randomly and bought the steel metal case for, I think, number 1.
Yeah,
and
some of those collector games go far.
And I just threw it up on eBay after a while, and I was surprised for how much it went. I can't remember, but I think it was like the new price. I don't know, between like $50 and $70 or something like that. And it wasn't in great shape. The slipcase had some cracks and stuff and some pieces missing, and it was great. But I looked up the website for the AFA, and they grade like from 10 to 100. So it's like in 10s up to 70, and then it's by 5s up to 100. But they also do like 75 and then 75 plus. You
want to be in the 90s to get the full value. If it's under, it's kind of like in the the 9s for a comic book. You want to be as close, like a 9.0 for a game is really, really good. That's probably the 9.8 of video games.
Yeah. So they grade on packaging and all that too.
Yeah, packaging sealed. It's got to be sealed because you're going to get a really big ding if it's open.
Yeah, if it's punched.
If it's punched. If it's.
But how many people actually like own a game and don't open it?
Well, that's the same.
Well, a lot of these rare games, they were just backstock. They were poor sellers. A lot of these rare games are poor sellers, and they just disappeared because no one had them. You don't like a lot of kids didn't have them at their house, so you don't see them in garage sales.
I'm gonna dig up an ET in from Arizona, and I'm gonna grade that.
They already dug that up, man.
I know. Crazy.
I have one of those landfill. I have a landfill ET.
You do?
Yeah.
That's nice.
But it's worth $5 because they found 50,000 of them.
Hold on. What are you talking about? ET landfill?
It's kind of a notorious story. So
the game takes place at a landfill.
No, yeah. ET, the Atari game.
That was my favorite game.
Bad. It was so bad
I loved that game as a kid.
They buried it. They took every cartridge and they buried it. No, all the ones that they couldn't sell, they put it in a landfill. Yeah. Someone recently dug it up about a year ago and found like 50,000 of them. So it was always like like
It
a
was a myth.
rumor, but
Yeah.
it was a myth. But it was a true one, and I bought one off of I found one at a flea market.
So they also do diecast and then collectible doll authority, which I think is Trey's favorite site.
Yeah, with all his Barbies. Yeah.
Yeah. And My Little Pony and stuff.
He does have an extensive collection.
Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned Trey's name yet, so we have to do that every like 20 minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Trey for starting this. It was his idea, wasn't it? Or
It was. Yeah,
collaboration?
absolutely.
Yep.
We're here with his blessing.
So kind of what I've gathered is collecting video games is a lot like the last issue kind of theory. Low print run, low desirability, nobody bought them.
And for me, it's like it's one of those connected industries. Like when I go to like a lot of flea markets and antique markets and stores, they're usually together. So when you're hunting for comics, there's usually games nearby, and it's just one of those things to look out for when you're hunting for comics. You kind of skip over some of the games.
I wouldn't skip over some of the real popular ones. I don't
No,
know how
anything
much it
with
goes for, like,
Mario?
Halo, or
Yeah,
maybe
Mario.
Halo 1 for Xbox.
Any Smash Brother game is an easy $50-$60. Like
Yeah,
it
Super
sells
Mario
instantly.
World is another one. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good buy. I mean,
Paper Mario, any Paper Mario on any platform. That's a easy $40.
Some of the what about the ones that they port to new systems? And they kind
Doesn't
of
matter.
redo. I think if I remember it right, for GameCube, unless it was a GameCube exclusive, was Tales of Arcadia.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that rings a bell. I don't know if that was a original GameCube game or a remake port.
Some of those collection games, like remastered games, they usually don't do. They're not really big sellers on the back market. It's those hard to find games that, you probably, like for me, I went to Warehouse Music when I was a kid. This is probably dating myself. But I'd rent a game every Friday, or like 3 games for like 99 cents each. And so I wouldn't necessarily buy these games, but when I got older, I kind of remembered playing them, and it would be fun to like play it again, but they're impossible to find. And I think that just happened to a lot of people in our generation.
I just went to sales. It looks like that Skies of Arcadia. I don't know if I said Tales of Arcadia, whatever. That can sell from $45 to $73.
Yeah, you never know. Like
2003. I can't remember if it was a port or just. I think it was a redo or a port, or is that the right word? It's port, right? They call it a
port would be like if you're going from system to system, correct? So like if you go PC or you go like, say you have a game on Nintendo, or right now let's say PlayStation. Say PlayStation goes to PC, it's called a port. Like when you take like Call of Duty and port it on the PC. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of like going back to the Wizard, that championship that they did in the movie was a real thing. They actually did world championships and tours for those games, and those tour and championship cartridges, $20,000 each.
Wow.
There's a Metroid Prime and Legend of Zelda combo pack that is worth a lot. Jesus.
On Super Nintendo.
On GameCube, it's graded. This one's graded 85 plus, sold for $1,006.
Wow.
Raw for 800, 300. So yeah,
Now,
check your garage sales.
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
Is that grading company? Are they associated with CGC? Because I know, like when I used to do baseball cards, they had before I knew about comic book grading. CGC had, I think it was SGC, and they graded baseball cards too. So I didn't know if that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they're related. I think they've got all the paper, the coins, all that kind of stuff, but I don't think they drift into the collectibles.
Well, yeah, now they're doing movie posters, so that's why I just didn't know if they were doing the games as well.
Is CGC the only company that does sports cards right now?
No, that's like PSA and Beckett.
I mean, an association of CGC. Is that the only company? I remember we're at Indy, and that table kind of 1 or 2 away from us, the guy had a bunch of sports stuff and some graded, but I didn't.
Oh, you're talking memorabilia or cards?
I guess both. I was asking about cards, but both since you brought it up.
I don't know.
I don't even know if they do cards. I know they used to back in the 90s.
There's probably no money in it for them anymore.
All right, maybe the guy at the show is just selling old stock or whatever.
Yeah, it could be it.
If you have your coin collection, then there you go. You can send it to the same CGC people.
Yeah, my cousin's or my sister's boyfriend's into coins like silver. Oh man, it's big money, big money.
But
Is there as much controversy in coins with CGC as comics?
It's the way he presents it, and I'm not totally 100% on it, but it's like it has to do with like cleaning a coin like loses its value just like restoring a book kind of does.
You take off the patina.
Yeah, the patina, and then trying to do all that stuff, and then you can actually fake a coin. It's I know it's ridiculous, but people do it.
Of course.
Yeah, if it's worth enough, I will fake it.
Oh yeah, man. And then you got like Morgans, and you got like rare coins, like I think it's a 1912 dime, like I think it's a 1912C as they call it, which it comes from the mints. Like when you look on the back of a coin, it says like M or C or B or something, and that's where all the mints are located.
A lot of variations too.
Yep.
So check your pockets. Check your pockets.
You know what? My since my sister's boyfriend does it, I always like to look at like currency. Like I always look at the back of them, or I'll look at like the bills. Like if you have like dollar bills and you have sequential like serial numbers on your dollar bills or something like that, that's like pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Or like
check your pocket change. Anything before 64 is silver.
Yep. And I mean, and the silver market's tough. I mean, if you're just getting into silver, it's a long-term investment. Really, it is. I mean, I didn't even check. I think silver right now is what, like probably like 12, 13 maybe.
No,
yeah, you missed your rush a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it was $10 like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Z? You were asking about sequential.
Yeah, what was the sequential thing?
Oh, so if you have sequential, so you know how every bill has a serial number. It's like starts with like A or L or something, and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 2, and it has that long number on it, like a serial number
at the bottom right.
Yeah, if it's in sequential, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's like expensive. Or it's all like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's another good expensive.
Or the lost numbers.
The lost numbers is a good one. Yep.
Huh. Who knew?
Yeah,
Like,
and then you have like different types of. You have like
how much do they sell for?
It depends. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how old it is and what and they have errors too. Just like comics, they have errors like it's chopped off or a misprinting or something of that nature. Yeah.
I was looking at our outline. I don't think I mentioned how I found G+. My buddy Martin got me into it. So he was, we were kind of into comics at the same time, and he told me about, hell's the website name now? Comics Heating Up, and I was looking at that for a little while, and then he's like, "Hey, there's yeah." Then he's like, "Yeah, there's this other site, Comic Book Scalping. You should check that out too."
Yeah, but that guy only post once in a while.
Right? Yeah. The posts were a little slow, Canadian time, I guess. But and then he's like, "Oh, and there's this G+ group you should check out too." And then I kind of migrated away from the other two, and now it's kind of just CBSI. So shout out to Martin, except when he got me into Pokemon cards.
Martin!
He got me into Pokemon the video game, and then about a month and a half later, he's like, I'm done with that. But I was already hooked.
Got to catch them all.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
catch my bullet.
Well, since you brought up Google Plus, the page, who was the earliest one in there?
I think it's Scott.
Yeah, I was number 8.
Oh, you were real early. I didn't realize that.
I was somewhere between 30 and 50. I can't remember exactly.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think I was mid 50s or something like that because my cousin Greg got me in, and I think it was like November of like, I want to say it was like, when did you join, Scott?
It was 2012, I think.
Yeah, I think I was like 2013 maybe, something like that. Yeah.
I'm one of the last. I was in the right at 400 or like 402 or something.
Wow. The rookie.
I have no idea. Yeah, well, no, I'm probably the latest. I was like March or April of 14.
Okay. Yeah,
What do
we
you
were.
guys-
But now you run the biggest thing on there with the top 10.
Look how far you've come.
You have the keys to the kingdom with that one.
Yeah.
You think it's possible for anybody to rise to the top like that again? That isn't. I mean, you said you were in about the 400s.
Yeah.
But I mean, what advice could we give to guys that are like, just finding the site? You guys are 28 episodes into this podcast, this other podcast. I'm just starting to listen, but I'd really like to be involved.
If you have a good I think if you have a good article idea, you pitch it to Inigo and send him what the article is and see if he likes it, and he'll put it up and then make it into a regular thing. I need to get back into my articles, but
don't be a dick.
yeah, don't be a dick.
Well, I think just getting involved in different places, people see your name.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I got in. I'll tell you, I guess, my story. So my cousin Greg got me in, and he's like, just kind of let's always be active. And then he had a kid, and he stopped being active and stuff, which is fine. But he just said always be active, and it's not just like plus wanting posts. Like anybody can plus one post. Like don't just go down the list of all the new posts and hit plus one. Like actually comment on a post and have some interaction. I think that's the best way to, go out and spread some knowledge or ask questions.
Show your hauls.
Yes, your hauls. Yeah, everything.
That'll actually get people to know you, just because that kind of tells everybody who you are.
Yeah.
I see Tim Walker. Like Tim Walker posted something. I'm like, crap, fuck.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be too good. And then you go to it, it's like amazing.
What's that?
I said his hauls make me jealous.
Oh man, I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
I only got 4 Saga 1s in this haul.
Yeah.
and a bone number 1 for $50.
Yeah, I
know. Talk about it.
Yeah, I know his secrets, but I can't. I was threatened to be killed if I ever release his secrets. So.
No, Will. Yeah,
Walker's got connections.
Yeah.
Well, he works a lot of angles, though.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he's always. Who knows how many websites he has open at once?
I don't know. I've got a Walker score this weekend that I'm like just waiting for the mail on Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, they don't happen often, but I was like, this can't be real, and I just hit PayPal as soon as it would take it.
What are your guys' best comic hauls or comic finds?
Mine was that slab haul I got a couple months ago.
That was a really good deal.
Yeah.
That was really smart. I mean, that's a pretty good idea to kind of replicate that for other people with their local comic shop.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he was telling me that he got an offer from somebody else, and I just told him, I was like, look, if you're going to sell for that price, I'll give you cash right now. And he made the decision, so it's pretty easy.
So tell people what your story with that, because I don't know if everyone knows.
Yeah, it was just my LCS. I've been going there since I got back into comics. You got to spend a lot of money and get to know people before you can really work out a deal like that. So like I said, one day I was in there and he was telling me that somebody offered him $2,000 for his whole collection of slabs, and he was thinking about taking it. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, basically, if you're going to take it, I'll give you $2,000 right now. And he thought about it for I think he thought about it for a day, and he was like, yeah, I'll take it. So, I mean, it was basically somebody that I've, built up a very good relationship with, and was able to make a good deal.
And that's one of the things, like, get to know your LCS and spend money. It doesn't mean go in there and just blow your paycheck and get stupid stuff. It's just over time, get your, set your weekly,
he doesn't even get variants. So, I mean, I buy my weekly reads there, and I'll buy an action figure here or there for something's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm spending $100 a week in there.
Right. And spend, make time, spending the extra 15 minutes to wait till, the line is gone, and just say, hey, what's going on? Just shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yeah. And be nice and be grateful,
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, and then maybe
I spend at least an hour in there a week.
Yeah, and then they'll give you a call or they'll give you a tip or whatever and say, "Hey, I'm getting this book. Are you interested?" Or, "Hey, I just got this collection. I thought of you," kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I used to be like top of the list for that, and my 2 first primary shops have kind of closed, so now I'm kind of.
You put them out of business?
No. That's just tough. I don't think I'd want to own a shop. It just is not.
Oh,
it's
man.
razor thin margins, and you got to just order an unbelievable, rate.
I mean, that's a big thing nowadays. And like, I mean, me and Scott, we own a shop with Tony, but I mean, the big thing is we don't have like a brick and mortar. So I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, brick and mortar is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't have enough to have the pre-orders. I mean, you got to have enough customers to pre-order every week,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to make it work.
Well, then
Scary.
you can get caught on the other end and, you know, you pre-order for your customers and they don't pick it up.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a big thing the other day.
I think they mentioned that. That's another tip is at least this past January, my store put on Facebook, hey, come get your stuff or we're going to put it out. I think last year I looked through their boxes and found a couple things before they put it out in their bins.
Well, and the shops, they notice. I mean, I go into the newer shop that I'm at. It's not a new shop, but it's newer to me. And, you know, they realize I'm the guy that looks at the weird stuff they put out. I mean, they've been around for a while. So, yeah, they've got some back bins that they keep behind the counter. And I'm the ones like, can I look at those sci-fi ones? Or can I look at the Westerns? Can I look at these things? And they kind of look at me like, yeah, okay.
I got myself in over my head with my LCS, and luckily they forgave me for it. But back when 52 Weeks was coming out and I was new into comics and I was just buying too much, they were pulling those for me, and they were pulling everything else, and it's like $4 an issue. And you know, I didn't have the best job, and he's like, yeah, that'll be, you know, I don't know, whatever the heck the price was.
$200.
Something crazy. And I was like, I just had to look at him. I was like, I can't, you got to put those back. I can't buy them. And obviously, you know, he was pissed and I felt terrible. So you got to watch what you pull and make sure that what you say you're going to buy is what you're going to buy. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're ready for the stink eye, or just abandon your box if you want to be a douche.
I mean, you
I feel like we
cut
could
off
have-
and lazy.
I feel like we could have an episode of dumb decisions Paul's made. Maybe that'll be his version of Mel's pump and dump.
I got a couple.
That might be a
That's my segment.
two-parter.
Well,
you know
well-
what really grinds my gear?
The best Paul story I have is when me and him went to IndieCon, and we get there, and I open up the back of my door, and all his near mint comics become VF really quickly.
My whole box fell out in the parking lot.
Dude, it's not as bad as frickin' we were helping a gentleman move in, and I had him on my dolly, and we were going up the hill, and there was this bump, and I just dropped like 5 boxes of this guy's books. And they were like, this is a serious dealer guy, you know, he's got Golden Age and stuff. He didn't have lids on the boxes, so they were kind of really peculiar in there. And then I picked them all up and I pulled again and it dropped. But he was like, cool. He's like, it's all right. They don't get damaged. He's just like, eh.
They're just Walking Deads. It just came out. It's not going to be worth anything.
Right.
Well, the funny thing is when we drop Paul's books, like they're all spread on the ground, and people are like looking. They wouldn't help us pick them up. They're like, "Hey man, we're just looking to see what you got."
Yeah, that's true. It's my first con, so I'm like, yeah, I guess it's pretty cutthroat out here.
I told him I'd give him a deal being the sales guy I am, you know, trying to sell him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
If you don't even have to haul them in, then you definitely don't have to haul them out.
Yeah.
Then when you dropped me off, I left my cash box in your car.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, Paul.
Man, I'm a walking comedy show. What can I say?
Thank goodness I was only 30 minutes away, so that wasn't too bad.
Oh, man.
Didn't I leave something there? And I was like halfway home. I had to drive all the way back.
Oh, yeah, did you leave your bag or something?
Something.
Yeah, your backpack.
Now, where was this?
Was it
Indie
IndieCon? Yeah, because
IndieCon.
somebody took it to you, I think, or met you somewhere.
No, I came all the way back to the convention center. I don't know who was. I can't remember who was waiting there.
Was it me?
I thought it was it Dino and I at the very end, or did you leave a day early?
No, I left when you guys did.
I think it was Dino and I. We might have been out in the parking lot.
I got like 30 minutes east of Indy, and I was like, hold it, where's my bag?
I got in the house and I was unloading my books and it's all happy, telling my wife how the show went. And then I was like, yeah, you know, I made X amount of money. It's around here somewhere.
Good news, bad news. I made a lot of money, but I lost it.
Too bad it's in Detroit now.
Yeah, I would immediately mail it to you, man. You know, I can't prioritize.
Yeah,
Sounds like a Homer Simpson move.
Yeah. And if it weighed too much, just adjust the weight, Dino.
Yeah.
I don't want you to pay too much.
I mean, worst comes to worst, I would just PayPal it to you. No big deal. You know, goods and services, of course. You know, I can't pay them.
Right. Yeah, just in case I lie. Yeah, I got some Paul stories. We'll cover it.
So there's going to be a Paul portion of every episode.
Yeah, we got to think of a funny name for it. I don't know.
Paul's problems.
Paul's problems works.
Yeah, it'll be a 10-minute segment on therapy for Paul.
Yeah, I'll just start off every story. Be like, so I had this problem one time.
It's like Dear Abby all over again.
You're the youngest of us, though, aren't you? So you're going to probably have the funniest stories.
Probably. I just turned 29. I stopped counting after 21. So everyone's like, "How old are you?" I don't know.
Yeah, he's got me by 2 years, or he's got me. I got him by 2 years. I'm 31, going on 31. So,
gosh, yeah. I'm grandpa then.
I'm 35.
Yeah,
38.
I'm more than that.
What'd you say, Ben?
I'm more than that.
Greater than.
So 40.
What are you guys' I was gonna say we were talking about toys. Like, what's your prized toy possession that you still have?
My brother-in-law gave me, I don't know why he did this, but last year he was cleaning out his garage or something, and he used to collect Superman stuff, and he gave me the City of Candor something.
Yeah, I remember that picture. The jar, the city in a bottle.
Yeah.
The big one.
I was like, oh, yeah, it's huge. But I was like, what is this? And he was like, I don't know. I paid like, $200 or something for it years ago. And man, I looked it up and it was.
You still have that?
Yeah, sitting right here on my desk.
If you ever move that, let me know. My number one toy is the NECA TMNT clamshell figures that are signed by Peter Laird. So if I ever got figures graded, it'd probably just be those 4 because they're signed and whatnot. So I guess I really wouldn't care about the grade, but just to keep them protected because I know the Sharpie's starting to rub off and stuff just from movement and whatnot.
And you got those at Comic-Con, right?
How did I get those? Well, he signed them, so I ordered it from a website. But so I had the ability to have him sign them, and then I've had them since. But then my second thing, because you're on Superman, guy that I know, who I bought a bunch of comics from, and him and I have become pretty good friends since. He sold these 2 Superman statues that are really old, and one's like, I'd have to look up the names. One's like Arrival at Earth and Leaving Krypton or something, but it's Superman in the ship leaving Krypton with his parents, and then the other statue is him crashed with the Kents picking him up. So those are, I don't think I'd ever sell those. They're just awesome, and I got it from a friend for a great price. So those are my 2 favorites as far as toys, and then I guess statues too.
Yeah, you have a lot in your office, don't you?
I'm kind of blessed in that sense because the house we have, the attic is finished, and it could be a whole nother bedroom, but it's actually my office or where I keep all my crap. But
it's Paul's playroom.
There you go. That could be another portion of this show.
Oh yeah, bring your kids. Yeah, I have some cool stuff up here. I know that one of my more recent pickups as far as statues is a company called Good Smile came out with turtles that kind of look like Battletoad. Look like the Battletoads a little bit in my opinion, but back when I was shipping for the UK guys, Chris Bowers did some pre-sales for those. So my LCS gave me a deal on those because I bought a certain amount of sets, and then Chris pre-sold some, and so he gave some of that money back to me to help me get my set for cheaper than retail, which was awesome and really nice of him. So that set's nice. That's probably number 3 on my list. And then I have some custom toys too. I have some turtle comics from Russia. They're pretty sweet. But yeah, it's fun. My goal is to get this place finally in tip-top shape for June. I don't know. I just randomly, I think that's when I finally started getting stuff together, is June of last year. just some new flooring and stuff like that. So I don't know if I'll post it publicly, but I think this June I'll do like a walkthrough video. I took a before video last June, so it'll be funny to compare the two. But we'll see.
Cool.
What about you guys? What do you guys have?
My favorite is Walking Dead Series 1 Rick Grimes.
The statue or
yeah, no, the McFarlane action figure.
I think I have one of those.
Yeah, they're
Let me
they're
grab
like
it.
they're like $150.
Yeah, I'm not into the statues. I got the coolest thing I own, and I'm a complete wrestling nerd about it. But so I'll give you the story, I guess. So I was in Tampa. My cousin lived in Tampa, and we went to Hulk Hogan's restaurant, and it's pretty good. And then he's like, "Hey, let's go by the shop," because he owns this little shop and he has all his memorabilia and stuff. So after like, I don't know, like 5 beers, we're all like, and a couple shots, we're like all hammered. We're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a good time." So before I even walk in, he goes, "Oh, they got cool things there," because he's been there before. You got like belts and all this kind of memorabilia, shirts and whatnot. He goes, "You should buy a belt, dude." And I'm like, if it's $1,000 or less, I'll buy it, because who knows? Who knows, right? So
I love the threshold.
I know, right? So I'm like, because I thought, it'll be like an insane amount of money, right? So I walk in there, and he has these belts lined up on like this 2x4, and it has like the buttons, and they're all hung up and stuff, and they're really nice. And I asked the girl, I go, "Well, how much for the belts?" And you know what she says? She goes, $1,000. So I tell my cousin, I'm like, "Shit." And then so I went and I purchased it's a WWE belt or WWF belt back in the 80s. And I didn't buy like the World Championship belt or anything like that. I bought like an Intercontinental yellow belt because I thought that was the coolest belt when they had it back in the day, the yellow one. And it got Hulk Hogan's signature on it.
Well, you gotta have the Hulkster.
Yeah, and it's like it came with like a nice thing, and then I was kind of too scared because I was flying back with it like over like Thanksgiving, because I didn't want to be that guy carrying on a belt on the carry thing, and people like look at me and then they like grab it out and start showing everybody. I'm like,
yeah, I'm a champion.
Yeah, I'm the champion about this. So I had her like, oh, this girl, she was like, I don't know, like 20 maybe. She was clueless at the time. And she's like, "Oh, I was trying to ask other vendors around for a box." I'm like, "Really?" So it took her like 3 weeks. And then when I bought it, though, my credit card declined. It was so funny because they thought it was like some kind of random purchase. I mean, it's a wrestling belt for $1,000. I'm glad my credit card company called me. So, but that's the coolest thing I own, I guess.
We are rejecting this for a dumb purchase, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I
sure
should
you
have
want
just
to
said,
do this?
Yeah, I mean, I should have just said no, but it is cool. I show it out to people, and everybody's always cool and happy to see it and stuff. So,
do you hold it over your head sometimes and just?
You know what? Everybody says that, like, "Oh, I bet you wear it around the house." I really don't. I just got it hanging at the bar and just something to talk about. I guess more of a conversation piece. Like people had like books or something on like coffee table books. I got a WWF championship belt. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I mean, I've always collected toys. I actually worked for a toy company, so I get all the exclusives. I gave a bunch away, and what I didn't have, I kind of sold. But the one thing I kept was this Hot Wheels Elite Back to the Future DeLorean.
Nice.
It's the smallest detail. It's perfect down to like the flux capacitor, the engine. It's got the what was it called when they put the in the Back to the Future 2, the thing on the back? Blanking.
The Mr.
Fusion. Yes, it has Mr. Fusion, and it even came with a little tiny hoverboard.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that you can put inside the car. I mean, I love that thing. It's fantastic.
What company is that?
It was Mattel.
Stepped away.
It was the Hot Wheels. I think it's a 1 in 30 scale. So it's the size of like a remote control car.
Nice. Did it come with any figures, Marty, or just the?
No. But the thing's die cast. It's heavy, and like every little piece feels real. The doors wing open. You can move the steering wheel inside. I mean, it's awesome.
That's another huge market, Hot Wheels, man. I know people will go crazy over die-cast Hot Wheels. Like,
yeah, if you go to any Target when they're opening, every person in line is trying to get a Hot Wheel.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What do you mean by
Anytime
that?
they're opening, you'll see a small line of like 5 people, and they're like rushing in to get.
Like on a shipment day, or what do you mean?
Yeah, on a shipment day. Yeah.
Oh, I found the Walking Dead figure. So I have the series 1, but it's open, and I have all the pieces. I just don't have the packaging. And then I have, I guess it's series 2, where he has all the different guns, and he has his sheriff's outfit on.
Is the one like? Do they have like a different look to them? Because like one is for the cartoon and one's for the TV show.
Looks like the series 1 is called Deputy Rick Grimes, and he's more from the TV show.
That's the
one with the baseball bat and the grenade.
What color is the packaging? Like the card? Is it
series
yellow?
1 is the series 1 is yellow, and then series 2 is the dark.
If it's yellow, that's the TV one.
Yeah, because I see it. It only has McFarlane at the top left, so I have that one loose with all the pieces.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah, and then the cartoon. Yeah, that one's worth a lot sealed. And then the other one is the color one, not black and white, with Skybound and Image and all the other logos on it.
Yeah, I think that's the comic book version.
Yeah, and then I have a comic book zombie lurker figure that's sealed. I was thinking about listing those the other day, but I ended up hanging on to them. I mean, that's another thing with whatever your collectible is. If you find yourself, hurting for money, or Christmas coming around the corner, sales regret can hurt worse than your temporary financial crunch.
Yeah, statues are hard. Like I found this Apocalypse bust. It was massive. It's probably the size of an actual head. It was a really good deal for like, I think it was $200, and they sell for about $1,000. But to ship that thing, I mean, it would be ridiculous.
The shipping kills you. The shipping. That's why I don't get into it. It doesn't make money for me. The shipping kills it. I mean, even if you got it for a good price,
right? And like that thing would break so easy. you know,
too dangerous.
Yeah.
Even after the cost, it's just too dangerous. Can't trust the UPS or the postal service.
Plus display. I had a back when I lived at home, I had a Superman cover-to-cover figure, which is like him. I think his arms are at his side, and he's like looking up as if he's flying straight up. And it fell off my shelf twice. The first time, of course, I'm like, God damn it. I glued it back together. I got to put it somewhere more secure. And then it fell down again. And I sold it one day because I was just sick of it falling. I was pissed. But if you're high end collectibles, you gotta have a sturdy, secure place for them. Otherwise,
I'll build a rack out of PVC for you.
Great, yeah. Put some concrete in there.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that stuff is nuts, though. Like, I mean, you can get the next thing down, which is like those. I forget who make them. Is it NECA or like, for example, like the Black Widow figures? I can't remember which one it is, but they would sell for like $900. And it's like a little bit bigger than an action figure, but the detail on those, and maybe it's Sideshow, I can't remember who put it out, but some of the detail on that stuff is nuts.
Is it the one that starts with a K, Kabuki, or?
Yeah, I kind of want to say it's that. I can't remember. I'm trying to look it up right now, but I don't know. I just know it's one of those Black Widow ones. It was nuts for a while. Yeah, it's Sideshow.
Yeah, besides price and besides shipping, it's storage and protection. You can fill up a room pretty quickly with gigantic busts and toys, and then you get the set.
Well, then the other problem you get is at the end of the day is when you sit there and you have like parties or you have people over and everybody wants to touch them, or it's like.
I don't even have to have a party. I have 3 boys under 10. So, like, I can't have anything nice.
Just don't have friends and don't have kids. It'll be good.
So that's exactly what happened to me, because we had a kid and my wife was like, well, time to get rid of all these toys. And I did.
Oh.
Yeah,
I swear, I just got like 40-year-old virgin in my mind, like lined up all over the house.
Well, I had a lot of like Masters of the Universe stuff out, and I had a lot of like Simpsons, and I think that was pretty much it. I had a lot of that stuff everywhere.
Obviously, there's more than one of these guys, but somewhere in the world is the guy who has either makes enough money to have a completely separate apartment or has a storage locker. It's like his man cave where he has all his stuff.
Oh, there's probably lots of people like that.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah.
I went to one of those storage locker guys who was like, it was a garage though, like a garage out of, I don't know, like 40 minutes away or something. And he had some pretty sweet toys, but it was like February and there was no heat. And he's like, yeah, I stay here. I think he was living there or something crazy. Like, man, you want my coat? It was, I felt
Has
bad
anyone
buying stuff from the guy.
have you ever done one of those storage? Where you bid on the storage locker?
No,
I went to one.
You did?
It was my wife had taken the kids on to visit relatives. I think it was frickin' July, and it was so hot and terrible sitting on an asphalt, parking lot, walking room to room, and I don't want to buy furniture and flip it, and I don't want to buy used goods. So I'm like sitting there waiting for a miracle, and I'm like, I can't do this.
it would be I couldn't. It's too much stuff.
That's a bunch of crazy deals that I see. It's like people will buy like, oh, I bought a storage locker and have a bunch of Valiant books that are worth nothing. It's like, hey, I'll give me $100 for these. I'm like, no.
No, I think it's too much of a gamble not knowing you're actually going to get something you want. You have to really, have a system to deal with that stuff.
And those TV shows only show the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be a TV show.
I mean, there was one that was a good locker. It had some collectible stuff in it, like more like military stuff. But there was so much other stuff I couldn't fathom dealing with it.
Well, and they say too that like I think out of every good haul on the TV shows that they show, I think it's like every 100 hauls you get one haul that pays for the rest of the 100 that you buy, because you never hear about the losses. You just hear about I found an Action Comics #1 in a storage locker. It's like, well, how many other storage lockers did you buy that you didn't end up with anything?
Well, yeah, and you watch them too, and they got like, where they're like, oh, these car parts are worth, 20. I can get $20 a piece all day for these, and I'm like, yeah, well, your pawn shop or whatever is stacked full of this stuff. So how quickly are you actually going to move that stuff?
Yeah, it's the moving issue. And then if I did it this weekend, let's say I went out and bid on a storage locker, the only way I could do it, the semi-common man, is to pay for that locker as far as renting it for another month or so. I couldn't just pull up my U-Haul van and fill it up with the whole locker and then bring it home and be like, look,
I'm going to buy this locker and I'm going to rent it. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Happy anniversary.
That's an interesting thought. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's the only way you could do it.
What's renting a storage locker though? Like $35? I mean, it's not like it's $8,000 or something.
No, it's
like $1 square foot.
Yeah.
It depends what city you're in. We're all in the Midwest, so it kind of
I live in Italy, so
so it's kind of relative. But I'm sure Matt, a storage locker is probably a ridiculous amount.
I mean, it's only $1 million, right, Matt?
I've never looked into one, but I think they're about $100.
For a little one or a big one?
Yeah, for probably a little one, because I know a buddy of mine, he moved recently. Yeah, about $100.
I had one for a while when we were switching houses because we had kids, and we just threw all the extra stuff in one, and it was like $80 for a 10x10 or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So
I mean, they're everywhere out here. So I mean,
the big thing about a storage unit is getting one that's like actually like temperature controlled and stuff like that. Because
most of them are outdoors.
Yeah, you get outdoors, or you get one that's like it's like, yeah, you got some nice boxes and stuff, but it's like all the boxes have been like, not properly stored or on the floor. So it's all like, moisture's got to it and stuff. It's tough.
I saw a pretty cool video of a guy who did, obviously completely illegal, but he moved into the storage locker and lived there.
I saw an article. Was there an article about him?
I think I shared it on one of our group chats, but he used every inch of that place. And then at the end of the video, or a link to his next one or something, he finally got his apartment, and he was showing one of the rooms, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to put a rock wall in this room and a gym. And they're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I saw that video, and I saw how he ran the electricals and stuff. It's like, it's like for sure they knew he was there. There's no way he didn't. He was like trying to be sly about it, but he had like a big ass antenna outside the door. It's like the owners knew about it. They didn't care.
My uncle's storage unit or something, or storage facility. I saw one of the shows, the storage locker shows, where they found some old original Star Wars toys, and that was pretty sweet.
Wow. Packaged?
Yeah.
I like watching a lot of those shows.
They're good time passers.
I like American Pickers.
Yes,
Yeah, I love American Pickers. I feel like I learn stuff. Like I don't know things. Like it's just you see stuff. Like I'm not going to find motorcycle parts. I'm not. I don't know how rare what Indian part is. But you learn about some stuff to like pay attention to.
I just tune in for Danielle.
Tattoos does it for you.
Yeah. Well, I actually used to hate that show because like, God, these guys are just going around ripping people off. And then I was like, well,
and now you're doing it.
They're helping. Well, right now I'm doing it. No, I think they're helping those people out. I mean, the stories.
Those people know what things are worth for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just they're tired of dealing with it, or they want to be on TV for a bit.
But it is true that it's amazing how much they know. I mean, they made like the vast majority of everything they know. And it's just not like they know like we just know comics or video games or something like that. They have a very expansive knowledge of what things are worth.
But a lot of it's like signs, tin toys, motorcycle parts, car parts. That's kind of like
art
their bread and
deco
butter.
stuff.
Well, to be fair, I mean, there's so much in comics to know that it's just a different mentality. I mean, we know a ton of useless crap. It's just all focused in one area. They just know a lot about little things. You could spend so much less, time learning most other hobbies and other collectibles.
Yeah, like my buddy who hasn't collected since he was a kid, he has 2 boxes of comics, and he's like, "Hey, I need some extra cash. Want to, get about $1,000 out of this stuff. Can you look at my 2 boxes and tell me what I have?" I'm like,
you got about $40.
You can maybe get about $40. Yeah, and I feel bad because he was like, "So let's just sell my collection." I'm like, ew.
I think
he has a full run of West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sean did that for a buddy of his and found a Hulk 181 or something crazy.
Well, he did have a NYX 3. So I pulled that out, graded it for him just as a gift, and it was a 9.6. I should have got it pressed for him, and it would have been a 9.8, but I was like, here's $600.
Nice.
Yeah, now go sell the rest for 20 and move on.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I'm trying to keep my collection trimmed down because it was really unruly when I first got back in. I actually got back in to like the collectible side it was New Year's Day, and I saw an ad for an auction that was like half hour away, and they had some old Superman comics and some other stuff. Like we're talking first 50 action somewhere, pretty early ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove out. I think I took my oldest kid with me because he was awake butt crack early too. I mean, this was at 7 a.m. on New Year's Day. It was one of the first times I didn't go out, and I was bidding on stuff, and my wife probably would have killed me. I didn't win a thing, but then I got hooked, and I was doing a lot of going to auctions and things like that. And for a while, there were a pretty good wave of comics coming out, but it almost feels like it's dead because there's so many people out there now, offering to buy collections, and there's so many places that the people can sell them that they're not going to those auction events anymore, or not very often.
Sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say a lot of shit's picked through by now.
Yeah, I mean, I had one of my best hauls is from one of those early auctions. I wish I had taken more money to that one because I went and it's probably an hour drive up in kind of middle of nowhere, smaller town. And I bought a giant size X-Men 1 and an ASM 129.
Wow.
They're like $300 each, which the guy that in the auction house thought that was crazy. Sadly, I didn't buy an X-Men 94 and a Tomb of Dracula 1 and 10. But I walked away with these for like $600, got them pressed and graded, and they ended up being like 9.0 on the X-Men and 9.2 or 9.4 on the Punisher. So, I mean, they were a great score. Just I have yet to find anything since then worth.
I mean, here's the thing: you flash forward 20 years, it's going to be the same case. You'll be like, I wish I would have picked up all that early run of Saga, or there's always going to be
cyclical.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of stuff that we missed out on, or that we have plenty of. Like all those bunkers, they're going to be gold.
Gold. You can build a bunker out of it. My collection stays in a closet. I mean, and not even a big closet. It's like a 3x3 closet.
Well, we could never go home. Just came back.
You what?
We Can Never Go Home, the comic, just came back price-wise.
Yeah, sell your stuff now.
Yeah,
It's funny. I watched that 9.9 a month or so ago that went the SDCC one, and I thought I could just buy that because it's pretty cool. It'll go cheap, and it went just more than I was willing to pay.
I still think that was a great read. I still think if they actually do anything, I don't think they will, but if they did, it was still a really good book.
I'm just not sure media TV exposure is going to make most books do anything.
If they can make Archie into this dark, brooding gossip girl, they can make anything.
What are they doing on Gotham right now? My buddy keeps telling me it's a really great show. My other buddy, who's a really big Batman fan, just either never tried it or couldn't get into it.
It depends.
The first season was great, I thought, in my opinion. I just couldn't get into season, was it 2 or whatever? I lost it.
This season's better. I think last season was. I mean, the nice thing about this season is you could see Bruce Wayne become training more, which is interesting. You could kind of see him becoming Batman in little tiny ways, and that's kind of fun to see. Like he's
spoilers probably for anybody.
Well, no, there's nothing big.
If we get there, I don't know.
No, there's nothing big. There's no key moment where he did it. But you could just see that small movement towards where they're building up to it. You can tell that they're going to do something with it in the next season or two. So I think that'll be fun. There's just weird stuff like there was the Penguin was in love with the Riddler. He was like crushing. That was
Fish
weird.
Mooney got me off.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched until they got into the Azrael stuff, and I don't know. I just lost interest. It just didn't go anywhere.
I mean, that's all those WB shows. Like they're in a way they're all the same. And then one season they might jump forward and actually have some momentum, and then it kind of goes back to being static.
I think they have too many episodes.
I don't know. I like The Flash. I like Arrow. I watch them all.
I watch them all.
I'm trying to.
Supergirl is taking a step back in my opinion, and I really am not.
Do you think it'll gain your interest again now it's on the CW?
I don't know. It's been worse this season. I don't know what is worse. What I don't like. It doesn't feel the same.
The Superman issues were fun.
Yeah,
those episodes were fun.
Those were good. It made me actually. I made the boys watch Superman 1, the original, Reeves one. I kind of forgot that it's really boring for about 45 minutes.
Now, how do you feel that these compare to, say, Smallville, which was kind of like the first of those WB shows?
I love Smallville.
I love Smallville.
The last 3 seasons of Smallville were so good. Like this last season in particular of Smallville was amazing.
No, it was a great show, and whatever. I get crap for watching WB shows all the time, but I enjoy them.
I like The Flash.
I think The Flash probably does it the best.
Yeah.
And Arrow is more good than bad.
I watched. So I'm Netflix limited, and I have like Sling TV and whatnot. So and a TV antenna. I don't have cable, so I could watch these shows as they come out if I want. But just kids and life and work, and I'm an on-demand kind of guy, time-wise. So as far as Arrow goes, I wanted to bring up 1, 2, and 3. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 were good, and then I tried to start season 4, and I couldn't get into it. Does it get better? Is it worth it?
It got better. Yeah, the last 2 seasons were good, but I feel like it's just slipping back into its rut again. Because I mean, the problem with these shows is that they have the same set over and over and over, and you get to a point where you kind of just get tired of seeing it.
Yeah. I liked season 1, 2, and 3 was okay, and then I started 4, and literally same thing like the second Turtles movie. The first episode, the first few minutes into it, I was like, I almost want to just turn it off and just pretend it never happened.
I think that
go
Flash,
ninja, go.
Hey, who doesn't like Vanilla Ice rapping at a concert? I mean, I liked it. It was awesome.
When I was a kid, that moment was what
was awesome.
Cemented that movie for me.
I remember that, and then the Mortal Kombat movie. I remember being fired up after that.
To this day, when the new line symbol comes up, I yell, Mortal Kombat! My wife hates it. Hates it.
Every time the new line symbol comes up for me, I'm like, are we gonna watch Turtles? Is it gonna be Turtles? No.
Now I go fight.
What's the fight movie they're redoing? Is it Mortal Kombat or am I?
I heard that.
There was talk of doing a sequel to Mortal Kombat. I remember that.
Or a reboot.
Well, they were going to do they were trying to get a webisode. There was a director who did a fan made.
They did. I thought they did a web.
I know that. What's his name? The Highlander was trying to.
Oh, Raiden. As Raiden, yeah, he was trying to redo his role. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Video games are tough. Like, I mean, when I was at Sony, we did Resident Evil, and even those when I was actually working on those, and they're like, oh, what elements should we put in there? I'm like, Axe Guy, Dobermans, like they're just pinpointing parts of the game that worked and just making their own kind of soup with it. No one really knows what to do. I mean, it's the same thing with Uncharted, which I think is now moving forward finally. But
Resident Evil isn't good. It isn't bad. It's just what it is.
It was called Mortal Kombat Legacy. It was a series on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I can't find it.
Must have missed that one.
I must have missed that one.
Straight to video.
Yeah.
But watch that with the Ninjak.
Ninjak, right? On the Valiant line.
Yeah, I think it's
cool.
cool.
They were trying to do Street Fighter again.
Oh yeah, Van Damme.
No, like a real one, a new one. They were trying to get a new one.
Have you guys watched the Street Fighter anime from I think it was like '94? But it's amazing. It opens up with Sagat and Ryu fighting at the beginning. It's probably one of my most favorite things I've ever watched. The fight scenes in that anime are fantastic.
Like I think anime in general is better. I mean, like look at well, I'll say Suicide Squad. Like Suicide Squad, the movie was okay, but I thought the animated version was 10 times better. That's just my personal opinion, I guess.
Well, it's hard to capture a comic in real life.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, in video games, they don't always have a story.
I think it's easier if you have a movie that turns into a video game like GoldenEye, or something of that nature. Like when I think I was watching GoldenEye when I was watching it, it's like, man, this will be a great video game. And then that's when 64 came out and it was like amazing.
Oh, I mean, I could go back to, playing GoldenEye. I mean, you go back to, for me, it was like college, but sitting around playing GoldenEye for like an entire summer, it seems like a waste of time, but it's such a great memory, No,
that was the last game that I really remember playing with any commitment.
And you look at now, like the graphics were awful, just terrible.
We got together and we played it about a month ago, and I could not get the controls right because
the gameplay is so hard.
Like how you do Call of Duty and Halo now, like everything's reversed, and I just couldn't get my bearings. I'm like trying to move, but looking down on the floor, and there's no like auto aim, so like you're like shooting everywhere, just spraying the entire room.
And you can't play it unless you have like an actual like 64 controller. Like I tried to play it on the old PlayStation controller, and it's just the C buttons. You don't have C buttons like an extra C button. Like
right. Well, I have all my old consoles, so there was one day where I had bought like a bunch of Nintendo games at some like flea market, so I had all the systems out testing them all, and my kids were like, oh, what is this awesomeness? And so we just spent all afternoon playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo and 64. But yeah, it was a blast.
Did you play obviously you played a bunch of multiplayer? Did you play No Odd Job? Because that's what we used to play.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can't do Odd Job or you don't want to be the tall guy. What's his name?
Shoot.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either. And then, did you play Golden Gun?
We did.
Yeah, nice.
But like you could kind of remember some of the bases too. Like I forgot some of the secret the places to get armor and
the cave one was a good map.
When I replayed Zelda, I remembered everything, where all the heart containers were.
That's awesome.
I seen a speed run of Zelda. I think it was like 12 minutes or something. Like you can get like I think you can get the first, like if you get a bomb, and then you get like the first like real weapon, that white sword, within like the first like 2 minutes of the game, I think.
Yeah, you got to get enough heart containers.
Yeah.
It's like the original Zelda.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
first one.
Didn't it? Wasn't because that was like the gold cartridge, right?
The gold cartridge. Yep.
Didn't it have like towards the end or something? You had to like get a chicken bone or something like that.
Yes. It's like a ham bone or a ham meat or something.
I don't even know why I just remembered that.
Yeah, you had to feed it to some creature to get through a doorway, I think.
Yeah.
Remember when you were in the one dungeon and the hands would grab you through the wall, and put you at the
I
beginning
hated
of the thing?
that.
Oh,
Take you right back to the beginning.
yeah.
Now, did you guys do a lot of what was your first online multiplayer?
Battlefield 1942.
Counter-Strike.
Oh, well, Counter-Strike 2. Yeah, I guess it's before
I think
that.
for me it was Unreal. Was
Unreal
on the
was
PC. Yeah,
Unreal 3.
maybe.
Yeah, I remember. We had that in Counter-Strike.
Oh, I guess I did a lot of Warcraft. You know, the original ones before it turned into World of Warcraft and the original StarCraft. I never got into the relaunches.
Yeah, I was top tier in Counter-Strike and top tier in Battlefield back in the day. And I went Call of Duty too. I was top tier in Call of Duty too for a while back in my younger years.
We're dealing with a celebrity.
Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't have any responsibilities.
But you have a plaque on your wall, so that's good.
Yeah. So
I ran downstairs. I just came back. You guys were mentioning earlier that CGC does movie posters, and it reminded me. John Brown told me about
concert posters, right?
Concert posters.
yeah,
okay.
concert posters.
John Brown told me about this guy.
Imagine the slab on a movie poster. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
That would be awesome.
Oh, so they only do those little concert posters.
Right.
Yeah,
the
the-
little one. Yeah.
The what 5x7s or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
If they did full size, yeah, that'd be.
I guess I'd never really looked at it. Man, I guess I was envisioning full-size posters.
I was
Well,
too, actually.
The slab would be awesome on that thing. It would be like a door.
They'd have to put.
I thought they had them, and they were like not really slab; they were bagged. But maybe that's somebody else. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a graded big something like that.
They have to like reinforce them for that size. But anyway, John Brown a while ago told me about this artist, and it's not going to help anyone besides us because the sale ends tonight because we're not live yet. But anywho, this guy Kevin Esslinger does some pretty sweet art, and every now and then he has a buy one get three free sale, and it ends tonight at midnight Mountain Time. But he does some pretty cool stuff. I have some turtles prints by him that you might have seen in the background of some of my pickup posts.
I have a few of his pieces too.
Yeah, but if you guys want to check him out, it won't be his last sale.
Yeah, I think he does it every couple months, right?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe once every quarter or something like that.
That's what I was thinking. Something.
Yeah, I think it's once every quarter because I think I remember you showing me the post on it. I think it is once a quarter.
But he has some cool stuff.
Have you guys collected Mondo?
I have not, but I did get some Mondo records recently, which are pretty cool. I got the one for Luke Cage, and then I got one for this older movie. I think it came out in 2006 called The Fountain, which is pretty sweet. The Mondo stuff is kind of, it's limited and that's kind of hit or miss as far as resale.
Right. Yeah.
I know they did some sweet turtle figures that I haven't bought.
Wish list.
You're right. Yeah, for the Secret Santa.
Or just put it on the G Plus page and like Paul's wish list, and like if anyone wants to buy it for me, just
right. It'll almost be torture at this point because I don't have any space. It'll just sit in the box, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Everything's
But
in
I mean, if
boxes.
you want to buy them for me, I'll let you know where to ship them.
I guess I'm weird. I take my stuff out. Like I bought my girlfriend, like she's in the Sailor Moon. I bought her like a Sailor Moon action figure. I took it out of the box. So, I mean, it's not like it's gonna be worth $1 million or anything. So, but
You never know.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I
it could
mean-
be like the Walking Dead figure I have loose. That not loose is worth $400 now.
Yeah. I think I got the box underneath. I'll just put some Scotch tape on it or something.
You're right. Yeah,
There you go.
sealed, never
Yeah,
opened.
So I know you guys talked about the G Plus page. You guys want to talk about our G Plus page a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we link it anywhere? Did we link it on the main page yet?
No, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we should. We're up to 111 members right now.
111 members with no episodes.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Thank us.
Hopefully, we have at least 111 after the first.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
It'd be bad.
gotta analyze our numbers. What do we want from those people? What do we want them to tell us, Dino?
I just think we should just, we're just looking for feedback. Obviously things we can do better. Topics that we want to discuss that's actually in our wheelhouse. We try to talk about everything except for like weekly releases and comics that the Unpressable Defect guys kind of talk about. So we kind of just want feedback and topics and things you're cool and things you think are cool or things you think that are interesting. You can post that or links. I think Mel V sent a link for a new game on there that we can talk about in the video game section of our podcast.
He put a video game up. He put a Grand Theft Auto mod, which there are tons of mods for that game.
Yes,
there's Hulk. The one he put up was Ghost Rider.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we just want it to be a little more interactive and give the audience
I think we're gonna
a chance to input on what we do.
I think we'll probably run a few polls here and there. Try to create some discussion.
Yeah, it's the people's podcast.
We're giving it back to the people.
Right. Make podcasts great again.
Well, I think we all have like our different things too. I mean, if they want to pick DeVoe's brain about these ridiculous variants or something like that, or Z with his tick or something that most people don't know much about or something like that. We all got our weird things and stuff that they can kind of pick our brains if they want to.
You mean his westerns?
Or westerns, yeah.
I remember at IndieCon, I mean, people just were bringing up stuff, and they kind of saw that I had turtle bucks and whatnot. One guy came up and wanted to sell me something that I ended up turning down. I can't remember what it was, some sketch cover or whatever.
Harley statue.
Right. Someone else brought up a picture of this cover that I'd never seen before. I was like, the art looked familiar. I was like, where in the world? I mean, is it a printed comic? I looked it up on eBay. I couldn't find it on my phone or anything. But it turned out it was one of the artists. Gosh, I can't remember. I'd have to look his name up. He was the artist who was there. Damn it! I got a poster signed by him.
There was like 50 of them.
I know. Well, he was the TMNT.
Yeah, that guy over there.
He was the turtle artist.
Oh, it was the guy I got Scott Robertson for, right?
Yeah. What the heck was his name?
Oh, shoot. Here, I'll look it up.
We should get Adam Hughes to commission an April O'Neil for Paul.
I talked to Hughes on Instagram. Actually, he's not bad. I mean, he's just so busy. Like I tried to get him to do a sketch for us for the old
Lawson,
Scott Robinson sketch thing.
That's who it was.
Oh,
so
was
anyway, it was Jim Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson. There it is.
So anywho, Jim Lawson was there, and I was like, I have no idea but the art is it's Jim Lawson art. So I went over to his table, and I showed him the cover. I'm like, where was this? When was this printed? And he turns out he was a commission piece that he did for someone, and they just turned it into like a fan comic.
Oh wow.
So they just used his cover to like make their own fan comic. I think it was online. I don't know if they sold issues or not. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up again. But I
wonder if he got any royalties.
Yeah, hopefully got a cut out of that.
I don't know. I was totally stumped. I'm like, man, I've never even seen that turtle cover before. So there's stuff out there that we don't know about as far as on the G Plus page, and if it's something that we don't know about, we'll comment on your post and maybe can send us some links, and we'll try and educate ourselves. We can bring it up on the podcast. But I don't think I think we're pretty much open to any topic, right? I mean, we have very few limitations.
We're gonna try and avoid politics.
Yeah,
politics.
So, what do you really feel about Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just politics and drama we'll try and leave off the podcast.
I don't really want to get into drama, but I know a lot of you guys follow Facebook. Did you see that that group that was having so much trouble last week? They sold it.
What?
Like there's a new ownership, and
They
it's just
sold it.
That's what this
Did you
says.
sell the password?
I guess it was just very interesting that happened.
What was
I saw
issue?
I saw it on Craigslist and I bought it.
Well, they had a big announcement about it. All the admins left, and then this guy says, "Well, I purchased the group from."
What were their problems?
I don't. It was into some kind of charity thing.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, I don't really want to go into drama. I just thought it was interesting that somebody just purchased the group. I thought.
Well, I mean,
you could buy Facebook pages now. Jesus.
That is the interesting question. And what are you going to do with it? It's not really. I don't know if there's any monetary value.
Well, I mean, it's all about social media settings. I mean, if you're a decent entrepreneur, I mean, you take those people that are on that page and try to promote whatever you're trying to promote or gain ad clicks or, whatever.
So are you saying someone could buy us?
Us?
For sale.
Yeah, they own Z. And
We really liked your first show. Can we buy you now?
I think they can buy the name.
Yeah, they could buy the naming rights and they could buy the website. Well, I guess
Mind you, they'd have to deal with a negotiation with Trey, which would sound terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So Inigo, somebody could buy the website for, say somebody gives Inigo, $10 million for the website. I mean,
which you should.
Yeah, which you should.
Share the wealth on that one.
Yeah, he could actually. I mean, it's a company takeover pretty much. I mean, it's just all based in web instead of like actual company.
Well, there's that guy last year who bought the rights to Google.com because it slipped through the cracks that's the name. Did you guys hear about that?
They didn't renew it.
They didn't renew it, so he bought it, and Google. And he was, and he kind of, luckily he was a nice guy from the sounds of it, at least a summary I know of. But he owned Google.com, the web domain.
There's a major market for that, guys. It's like Hotmail was another one that Microsoft lapsed on, and somebody bought Hotmail, and they gave it back to him after like 15 minutes or something. I mean, it's like, but it's like all the other things too, like domain names. So like when new celebrities come out, somebody tries to buy like I don't know, like somebody's name.com, and then they try to. Yep, yeah, like JustinBieber.com, and then they try to sell it to Justin Bieber for X amount of money.
We know you have that already, Dino.
Well, don't worry about what I got. Okay, I'm trying to make a side.
But no, the Google story ended up the guy they bought it. They quote unquote bought it back from him, but the money went to charity, so it all worked out. But that's how
didn't Trump buy one of his competitors' site at some point?
I'm knowing him, I probably wouldn't.
I don't remember which one, but I remember that happened.
Yeah, that is the new age that we live in. So.
Right after you said no politics, Z.
It wasn't really politics. It's just buying domains.
You said the man's name.
Well, I've heard also that there are people will buy domains if they see people searching to see if they're free.
Oh yeah. I mean,
if you look at a site and you've got an idea, you better buy it when you look because somebody might nab it.
Yeah, I mean the lawyer, and it's almost like lawyers. It's like people who just love to buy sites just so There are people who will buy every variation of a site too, like Justin Bieber. Like we'll say Justin Bieber is a good example. JustinBieber.com, JBieber.com, Justin B. Just a whole bunch of. I mean, domains are so cheap. I mean, you just have them sit there and you don't even put anything on them. You just buy the domain.
And if you get a hit, you get a hit.
Yeah.
As far as Facebook though goes, it's just one of the crazy new markets for comics. Facebook, Instagram, where you can sell and run raffles, and
those Instagram raffles are wild.
Never ever send money, friends and family. Number one tip when it comes to dealing with the stuff offline. I know some of rumor people talk about working deals outside of eBay. Send money, friends and family. 100% at your own risk. There's a whole Facebook page dedicated to scammers.
You have no protection sending it friends and family.
Yeah.
Yep.
If I'm buying a book off Facebook, I'm getting a good price, and I'm happy to add the 3% to whatever I send.
Yeah, that's another thing too. If someone's good, thanks Z. If someone's giving you grief about sending it friends and family, I would take the extra 3% of whatever if you really want the book and they're really being an idiot about it or a jerk about it, just add the 3% fee that they're going to pay to your amount just for your own protection.
Yeah, I've done that quite a few times.
I sometimes just do it to be nice. Is they ask $100, I'm like, I send 102.58 or whatever the math is on it.
I mean,
I've done it, and I'm just like, here, I sent it to via whatever, and just whatever, they're happy.
Well, and PayPal's super cool to work with too. I mean, if you ever have an issue and you talk it out with PayPal, they're more than likely going to take your side. So,
well, I got hit on an eBay one. I bought what I thought was a great deal. Spent $5,000 on a book.
Holy shit!
Oh, jeez.
And like the immediately within an hour or two, there was a tracking number. But when I pulled that tracking number up, it linked to a package that was already out, and like it got mailed to close enough to me to be weird, but like it was within under 24 hours, and
jeez,
it was interesting. I mean, and PayPal is not. They don't want to admit that there's scammers out there, so it was a little harder than you thought. The only reason that we kind of got it cleared up so quickly is they didn't do a signature confirmation on it, because otherwise it would have been hard.
I got hit hard by a PayPal one like about a year ago. I sold like this Green Lantern ring for close to $1,000. It was like this one of a kind, and the guy returned it 3 months later. Like I just got the package back. It was never open. He just returned it, but it was well past the eBay cutoff. But he refused it through his credit card. So he paid his credit card through PayPal. So I called PayPal. I'm like, I have no protection here, and they're like, no, the credit cards trump us. So if he did it right at the cutoff for the credit card, and that was the workaround, and I just had to eat it.
You got the ring back though?
I got it back, but I sold it for like $250. So that $900, it put me way back in the hole.
Was it a ring, like a sports ring, or what was it?
No, it was when the movie came out. Warner Brothers did this one of a kind gem. It was like gemstones. Green Lantern.
Oh, sorry. The ring. Lord of the Rings. The ring.
It was such an ugly ring, but it was like one of a kind.
Well, that stuff always scares me when you sell big ticket items. That's why I'm real hesitant on it.
I almost got into like movie props a while ago, like a long while ago, as far as like buying when they sell it for movies that are done, like the ring from Lord of the Rings or whatever. But when those websites go up, I don't know if it's like through WB or whatever websites it used to be, but that stuff flies off the shelves. Like by the time you hear about it, it's all already gone. I mean,
that's a tough market.
Yeah, I don't know who it goes to first. I know there's like wrap gifts to the actors and stuff like that. But I almost got into that market, and that probably would have killed me financially, I'm sure. But
I think you've got to have a bigger piggy bank to play that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
At Sony, when we were there, one of the perks was in their employee store, every week they would put out items from films with a COA. So you can, and there was no you could sell if you wanted to. That it was kind of like frowned upon, but who cares?
Like masturbating on an airplane.
So like I bought one of Will.
We're almost at the famous 2-hour mark.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Want to phone it in?
I actually
I'm waiting to hear what you bought of Will Ferrell's.
Will Ferrell's one of his outfits from Crystal Gale outfit from Step Brothers.
Did you smell the tits?
Of course. No.
Did you smell
I did bought. There was like from what was the ice skating movie with Will Ferrell?
Oh God,
Blades
of Glory.
Jenna Fisher's bustier from that movie, like when she was trying to seduce Napoleon. I bought that, and it was like I sold that on eBay for like $200.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a short list of actresses that I would like to see topless, and she's on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a market for everything. I mean, there's Plenty of stuff to sell.
Haley Atwell is on the list as well. I'll leave it at that.
Let's not start another segment, Paul.
Hey,
Paul's playthings. I don't know.
hey, Matt,
Who would Paul sniff?
hey, Matt, since you were like in with Sony and stuff, didn't they say that they were gonna are they thinking about selling their movie studio?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still connected to a lot of people that work there, and I've actually been there on a couple times just interviewing. But it seems like there's rumors just going around from person. Like I don't know if there's anything concrete, but I know a lot of people are leaving. Like my old boss is leaving. Just people that have been there for years. I don't know what that means, but there's something going on, and I know the studio's been hurting, but the whole film industry's been hurting just because TV's expanded so much.
Media has been hurting, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's the easiest way for Disney to get the properties back is just buy Sony altogether.
Yeah. Well, they just have that. They just have Spider-Man. I mean, they could. Like right now, it'd probably be pretty cheap.
I was gonna say it might be cheaper to buy the whole thing than to buy the rights to Spider-Man back.
It's on Koi's eBay watch list.
Well, it's funny. Sony had the opportunity to buy Marvel in it was like the early 2000s, maybe like 2004. And it was for something stupid like 250 million, and it just didn't go.
Didn't seem like a good idea at the time.
No, they said we have the most valuable character. We don't need the rest.
God, it'd be nice if that didn't get so chopped up over the years.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if you just randomly owed one character that they need?
Yep.
Just one.
Because I've seen charts like where at some point like Neymar was at Universal or something asinine. Like, why do they have the rights to that guy?
Because he's a key element in every story.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they would have redone the X-Men deal where they would have only pinpointed like 20 X-Men that they had access to. It would have been huge for Marvel. But since they had that blanketed all mutants, it's screwed them over.
Who actually sold them the first? I mean, who sold the rights? I mean, was it just Marvel?
Well, back in the day, Marvel was, they were just coming out of bankruptcy. They made the Blade movies. Then they did.
Which Blade one was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. And they kind of sprung off of that money a little bit, and they went into. Then they just started shopping every character around the industry. So every character, like I know Sony had Doctor Strange at one point. They had Ghost Rider. They had Spider-Man. They had a few other miscellaneous characters, and then Universal had a bunch. Paramount had a bunch. I mean, it was everywhere, and it was only until they, the Spider-Man movies made them a lot of money, and then the X-Men movies made them a lot of money.
Which set of Spider-Man?
Yeah, no,
Toby.
I mean, they all made money. It was like even as bad as Spider-Man 3 was. I mean,
How was
I just watched those through with the kids, and yeah, it's still bad.
There was some ad on we'll buy your movies except for Spider-Man 3. That was awful.
It was a pawn shop.
Yeah, the pawn shop video. How was I just sometimes I don't see movies like a lot before the first Avengers movie. After the first one, I didn't go to the theater for a long time, but I still have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. Yeah, sorry to be.
It's the best one, and you can watch it with the kids too.
Paul's our koi.
The koi Mel hybrid. But how was Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange is good.
Yeah, I like Doctor Strange.
It was my favorite movie experience of last year.
I think I chose to watch Suicide Squad over Guardians of the Galaxy recently, and I wish I wouldn't have.
No, that was a poor choice.
Yeah,
that goes in another segment of Paul's problems.
Hey Paul, you can actually watch both.
Yeah,
like 2 hours apiece.
Right.
Then we just need to change the segment to what would Paul do?
Yeah,
Everybody else does. Yeah.
And then don't do it.
Right, exactly. Did anyone see the extended cut of Batman versus Superman?
I watched that movie twice, and that was enough.
Did you watch the like extra extended version though?
No, I can't take any more of that movie.
I guess since you're in the movie business, do you really does the audience really need to know how Batman became Batman? I mean, I think everybody
that's my
knows.
biggest beef. If I ever have to see Superman's origin again, no one needs to see Superman's origin. We got it. Batman's origin, we got it. Everyone knows it. Never show it again.
Or just like a blip. Like it doesn't have to be so like that was the whole thing. I had a problem with Batman and Superman. It was like Batman, like it was like a half an hour segment on it. It's like we all know, everyone knows. It's like
one of my favorite Marvel movies is actually the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. If you watch the opening sequence, they go through his backstory in just the opening titles. They kind of move through it like a comic book. And it's just amazing how they did it. And so when you jump into the movie, you're in it. You don't have to go through the origin again. Like same thing with Spider-Man. I'm not looking forward to seeing. I hope we don't have to go back into it.
If every ticket came with a free origin story comic book reprint, it would cost the studios less than if they just jumped right into the story.
But it's just the way to do it. Roll through in the opening credits. Just get everyone up to speed. Everyone knows that everyone saw Spider-Man 1. You know.
What was was that in one of the group chats? The bonus scene from one of the Edward Norton Hulk movies, or maybe it was the new Hulk, whatever that actor's name is. I think it was Edward Norton. Anyway, he like went to Antarctica and went to shoot himself in the head, and then that was the quote from the next one, like from the Avengers movie. Didn't he say like I tried eating a bullet one time?
It was an outtake,
and it was an outtake.
I think it was like it was one of those extra scenes. I think
it was an extra. Yeah, he was in Antarctica, and he went to shoot himself in the head, or it was alluded to that. But then he spit the bullet out. But that was like a cut scene from the one of the Edward Norton films.
Yeah, and also in that clip, in the background you saw Cap frozen in ice.
That's what it was. Yeah.
They were trying to tie everything together. I mean, they kind of did because they had Thunderbolt and Tony Stark meet at the end of it, where they said, "Hey, we're putting a team together."
Right.
I don't know. You say don't want to see origins, but then you had what Superman Returns, and they really tried not to, and it was just off.
Right.
I liked Man of Steel. I don't know why.
That poor city.
Yeah, I used to actually be a really big Superman fan, and now I have one of those that tall for whatever the heck the European word is, those IKEA glass shelves that are really popular with figures, and I think the only Superman comics I have are on that shelf in front of those statues I talked about earlier. I just fell out of fandom for him as far as comic books and stuff. I like the movies, but
I haven't really told a good Superman story in a while.
I mean, taxes in Metropolis must be out of control. Tell you that.
If you want to read a really good Superman story, read Secret Identity. I think it was Kurt.
Red Sun's really good.
Red Sun's good, but Secret Identity is like a good modern take on Superman.
I think I have that somewhere, and I never read it.
It's amazing because what it basically is this guy named Clark Kent, who lives in a world where Superman's fictional. But he starts getting the abilities of Superman. So it's like a real world. There's no other superheroes. It's just him. And so he takes on the monitor of Superman because, of course, that's his idol. And so he flies around the world in a modern world where, that fears him and takes all these extra precautions by putting sensors at the bottom of the ocean and all these satellites to kind of track him. I mean, it's such a good story.
Huh.
And then, it's really good. It's one of my favorite reads.
I'll check that one out.
I'll see if the library has it, which is a good place to get trades if you're looking.
You can get anything.
Our
anything
trade paperback club, which Dino and I tried to start.
I mean, that's about all I read anymore is just going back and trying to get some of the classics that I missed through gaps of time.
Yeah, we can pump that, I guess, the trade paperback club. Like me and Paul, we kind of started it and we kind of just privatized it for the beginning, but we do have a trade paperback club, and everybody can join now, so it's not that big of a deal. And we just talk about trade paperback news on the actual group. It's kind of like the local group, how CBSI local comics take off. Hopefully, a trade paperback club takes off in similar fashion. Talking about trade paperbacks.
We tried to set up when it was private, like a library, as far as, hey Dino, I have this trade, and I'll lend it to you. And then we actually Dino found a cool website that kind of acts as like a pseudo library, where it's, you get an email saying, okay, it's time to send your book back to Dino. I don't know if that would work as well with it open to the public, but it's definitely a place to talk about trades, which are another market. Some of those trades are worth a lot. I know there's that one Thor trade, or the Thor hardcover, which is like $300 or something crazy. Which I maybe one day I'll buy it, but it was like the collection of, whose run was that, Dino? I think you helped me track it down.
Do you mean the Visionary one, the Thor Visionaries?
Yeah, let me see if I can find
Are you talking the omnibus?
It's on my wish list. I'm trying to find it on.
That's a whole. We could have a whole show on those. I've just scratched at a few of them trying to figure stuff out, and every once in a while I find a book. Man, I'd like to read that. And you go,
it was the Thor Walter Simpson, or Simonson omnibus.
Yeah, that one's a $300 book.
Yep.
Yeah, but when it came out, what was it? 120 maybe. I don't know what the cover one was, but yeah, we could do a whole other show. I mean, I have on the shelf behind me, Fear Agent Library 1 and 2, which they did a second print of, I think, and then the Usagi Yojimbo hardcovers they did, like the definitive collection or whatever, they did a second print of, and the first one, still sealed, is, I don't know, I'd have to look it up to see what they're going for, but yeah, we have a trade paperback page if you're interested.
Do you guys remember when like Barnes and Noble had this huge flub on their website where every one of those like omnibuses were like $10? It was about like 3 years ago. It was a big, it was awesome. Like I got like, I don't know, about 20 different books for ridiculous prices, but it was it was everyone flooded to it.
Dang, that'd be awesome. And some people do that. Some people don't buy individual comic books, but I did the math, and trades, the math works out to be about the same as buying the individual issues, which is cool on the company's part.
They're not dumb.
Right. Yeah. They're
and also,
you're gonna get the same amount of money out, no matter how.
It's not a false problem story.
Shops make more money off of those trades. If you want to like help your shop out, buy a trade, and that makes such a big difference.
It was Usagi Yojimbo, the special edition, and they printed it once in 2015, and then the other one was 2010. And it looks like the 2000. Jesus, Amazon is crazy. If you're researching prices, I would go to eBay. I just pulled it up on Amazon, the 2010 one. 5 used from $99, 5 new from $1,090.
It's probably Walkers.
Right? Yeah. The one, but yeah, I mean, whatever. If you're maybe instead of buying the individual issues, you buy these special editions, whatnot, and you buy 2 of them and leave one sealed. I don't know, whatever.
Well, I know that all my local comic shops around here sell all their trades for like half price.
Yep, mine does that too. It's pretty awesome.
I've taken to, when I go to cons or shows and if they're dead, I just start looking through who's got trades or anything cool, and buy $5 trades to read.
Yeah, and if you're done with the trade, if you get it cheap from a con or whatever, and you're done with it and you don't want to store it, look for your local used bookstores and bring them in there, and they'll give you credit, and then you can buy a regular book or more trades or whatever.
Or you set up at a con and sell them for $5 back.
That's true, yeah. Or you do that, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like 70 long boxes of trades. So
yeah,
yeah. Those guys that haul those trade long boxes, God.
I don't think they're any heavier or any less.
I know Philip Chung was just talking. I was talking to him recently, and he bought like all these boxes of trades, and it was like, oh, what did I buy? Because he's gonna have to grind to sell everyone for like $3, $4. It's brutal.
I know what you're buying before you buy a collection. If you find an amazing Craigslist deal, and the guy or woman or whoever is like, okay, I have X amount of long boxes that I'm only going to sell for $1,000 or whatever the heck the price is. just be like, okay, I'll buy them for that much, but can I look through them first? I mean, I wouldn't. Buying stuff blind is risky.
Unless you can get it for super cheap,
unless you're getting it for
when you
bulk
got
price.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're getting it for $20 a long box, then you don't really have to look through.
Yeah. If you get a long box of nothing, throw it up use it at a con as your dollar bin to draw people in.
Yeah, for sure.
Within 5 purchases, you've probably at least broken even.
Stop giving away that free cornbread, man.
I thought that was our point. Like the Unpressable doesn't give the free cornbread, where we freely give it with honey.
It's hot up here with my oven going full blast.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I kind of do that too. I mean, this year, at least when we go to Indy or I go to Toledo with Paul, I'll have a few dollar boxes. I learned from Z actually. Z and John Brown from last year, they had a bunch of dollar boxes and they did well. It's for me, everybody has a lore of me being the greatest selling person on the planet, but it's hard to sell $500 books to people. It really is. I mean,
in 3 or 4 shows, I've sold like 1 or 2 big books.
Yeah.
It's usually the $5 and the $1 that sell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's all filler books too. It's not like, $1 crazy books or, spec books. They're like filler books mostly. Like, oh, I got some kind of run of, whatever, like Ghost or I don't know, whatever, West Coast Avengers. And it's like, hey, I'm looking for issue number 22, like for $1. I mean,
I think the question was the strangest out of the blue request we had at Indy that I remember.
I had it too. I had
a couple of them. We're all like, you're looking for the question. The question is, do I have it? I guess.
Remember that dude that walked up and he was like, I'm looking for Captain Canuck #1. I was like, oh,
that was Jimmy.
I was like, oh man, I've got that. Now I know exactly where it is.
That one guy who was selling with us left and made more money than the rest of us who were still there.
Was that Tony?
No, it was you, Ben. Yeah. You went off and
Dino sold my stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do, man.
Yeah, you came back and you're like, thanks for all the money. Yeah.
That's the easiest. That was the easiest sell. I mean, Ben's got good books, so I mean, it wasn't terribly.
Yeah. Some guys don't know what they have. I mean, I won't go down that hole.
Yeah, that's another Paul problem.
Hey, there's a whole show I signed up for just based on theory of I can get in early and probably make some money just buying.
Yeah.
Just send all your books to Trey, and he'll sort them for you. He'll tell you which ones are worth money, or just send him a hangout.
And when to sell them.
Right, he does. I was just gonna say that. I sent Trey a big box, and I'm like, could you press? I mean, he pressed some of them, but then I'm like, could you grade them too? Like, I mean, just eyeball them. Tell me, like, what do you think they would grade at?
and while you're at it, could you send them to CGC for me?
Right. Yeah. Could you loan me some money? I mean, here's my login. Could you just list them for me?
I mean, that's the best. That's the problem, though. It's like when you go to cons and you sell. I don't know how many people out there actually sold at a con, but it's like when you go to a major con and you go there and you sell the first hour before the con opens, where you get to like walk around and there's nobody around. That's like the glorious time of like. That's the best time. I get so spoiled that when I go to regular cons and being a regular smo, it's like I can't stand it. Like people,
that's like
standing
the morning,
in line.
Yeah, it's like when
there's
you wake
people
up
in front of you.
You wake up and there's the morning dew and the mist across the field or whatever. Or if you've ever gotten up really early to go fishing and it's really quiet and still misty out, it's like that.
It always turned us into Field of Dreams somehow.
That's when you have your first beer, right?
Oh, of course. Oh shoot, I forget what I was gonna say. Blame the beer, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So does anybody else got anything to say? I mean, we're over the 2-hour mark. We're at like 2:12.
Yeah, did we record this?
No.
Oh shit.
I forgot to hit the start broadcast button. So
let's do it again.
Yeah.
I've been recording it on cassette tape.
You forgot to put a tape in there?
I tried to put it in the floppy drive. It didn't work.
Yeah, zip drive, I think, was the next step up from that. Now, I don't know. I guess just see what people put on our G Plus page about what they thought and what they want next week or what they want us to talk about.
Yeah, I hope you guys liked it.
For next week, one of our topics is to all of us are gonna read or finish reading Watchmen and talk about it. So I don't know if the audience wants to read that for next time.
Yeah, since we're all kind of into a little bit of older school stuff, we thought it'd be good to revisit some of these older storylines, see how they hang out.
So our next show is going to be February 12th, and I think we're going to try and go live. Post that link, right, Dino, or no?
Yeah, we're gonna. I think if the feedback's decent, obviously, we're going to do live. I think so. We'll post a link. I'll probably post it on main, and I'll probably post it in our actual group, so everybody can actually get on, and hopefully we have some good chatter and have a good successful podcast.
Are we going to do comments the same as Unpressables as far as YouTube? Maybe check in.
Yeah, we'll check in. I think once we get past the hour, for us, I think we want to keep it around 2 hours ish. I think if we go to like an hour and a half, and then the last 30 minutes, maybe we can start talking to the people.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, that might be cool.
But we are open to suggestions.
Yes,
and thanks to Unpressable for giving us an audience and throwing us the ball.
Absolutely.
Us being the B team that we are. So
yeah.
Sometimes the B team needs to get in there.
Yeah.
Unison high five.
That's right.
Second fiddles over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I did not mention and give Coy a shout out. For,
and you know what? We didn't give Sean a shout out at all either. So we should give Sean.
Who's Sean? I know Shane.
Yeah, I know
Shane. Shane.
I've been drinking in honor of Shane this whole time.
That's right.
I should have been double.
Also known as Shane.
All right. Well, I guess we'll catch everybody on the 12th.
On the flip side.
On the flip side.
All right.
On the flip side.
Thanks, everybody.
On the flip side.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.